Hi, this is Eva for Once Upon a Timeline. Welcome to Midnight Mandela. I hope everybody's doing okay this week. So, I might be coming down with a little flu, and I don't want to curse myself by saying that I don't think it's going to be really bad, because the last time I said that I was wrong. However, actually, I still don't think it's going to be very bad, but maybe I'm just an optimist. Anyway, the throat, it's funny because Jackie was just saying, oh, there's razor blade throat COVID variant going around. And I looked it up and it's just like, okay, so it's a sore throat. But I have it under control and it's not really bugging me. And it was kind of bugging me last night and now it doesn't hurt. So I think I have it under control. So that's a good sign. So I just take a whole bunch of anti-inflammatories when that happens. And if I take them properly, I can kill the sore throat attack. Some zinc. I added zinc this time. So Vivian, yeah, I feel ya. So like yesterday around 9-ish, I was like, oh, suddenly, it was almost like something got me. I don't know. I felt fine before that. I felt fine during the day. I really hadn't seen very many people, so I don't even know who I would have got it from. Yeah, the razor blade throat. I feel like they're running out of fear porn to use. Yeah, that war thing. I hopefully, definitely that we stay out of it. You know, a lot of people don't realize that we really, like, the CIA, like, really messed with Iran. I think it was in 56 or 53 or something. So they had a democratically elected moderate president in Iran at the time. And that guy wanted to audit the oil production system run by the Brits, and the Brits said no. And I mean, that's Iranian oil, right, on Iranian property and in the country. And then they said, okay, we're just going to nationalize the oil. And then that started, like, basically that they did everything they could to get rid of that guy. They cooed him out. They installed the puppet government, which was a Shah, loyal to the United States and the West. That guy ruled by iron dictatorship. Basically, they totally trashed the country. And then when the country tried to get rid of that dictator, the West embargoed them, wouldn't let them sell their oil, wouldn't let them use the seas, then backed Saddam Hussein of Iraq to do a surprise invasion. 700,000 Iranians were killed. Iran didn't have much of a military at that time, so they were sitting duck. So you have to understand that this thing goes way back. And so people saying now Iran doesn't like the West. Well, I wonder why. So I hope you all understand that that's the history there, and that's only the half of it. So I don't want to hear any whining about how Iran doesn't like the United States. They have reason. And also, we need to stay the F out of it. We've already done enough. You know, when we helped the Britons get the oil back, control the oil in Iran, the United States made sure that we had a piece of it, because before only British did. So you could just see the whole, you know, and it's in Wiki, so it's not like some conspiracy theory. I think it was the Iranian coup of 1953, I think it was. And it's in the CIA records that we did it, and we did horrible things. So I just want to put that out because almost nobody knows that history. Yeah, you know, I hate to say it, Chari, but, you know, they're not doing it as much now, but they used to say a lot, oh, they hate us for our freedoms and stuff. I'm like, no, I think they hate us for our bombs and our wars and our meddling and our coups and all that crap. But yeah, some countries are smart enough to know that. Most people in other countries don't know about what happened. Anyway, so that's the sermon for today. Being sick is just your body healing from poison. I hope so. The thing sometimes I just generally like don't feel better after I'm sick. So, you know, I don't know. Well, I don't know. Trump's flapping his lip a lot, but he actually hasn't done. I mean, we're still protecting Iraq from, or from Israel from the blowback of their own attacks and all that crap. To my knowledge, last I checked a few hours ago, he hadn't actually like sent any bombs to Iran. So I'm hoping that we won't, because I think we've already done more than enough meddling, and we should just stay out of it. So, yeah. Hopefully they're far away from the border, because it seems like Israel can't quite reach that far into the country. They're mostly going around Tehran and stuff. There's a lot of, like, some people are like, oh, Iran's going to run out of weapons. Other people are like, Israel's going to run out of weapons. Hopefully both, and we won't meddle, and they're both going to have to quit, because Iran's a big country. They're not going to and they're not going to back down. There's no way, because it's existential for them. They used to have no military and trust other countries, and they had 700,000 people slaughtered by Iraq, backed by the United States, where we gave Saddam weapons and intel, and that's all in the CIA record. So it really kind of pisses me off. Okay, so interestingly, this just showed up as the screensaver. So however I ended up with it, it's one of those roving screensaver things that, you know, some years ago are become so common. And these are interesting, these roving screensavers, because it's a way for the timeline to kind of expose the new reality to us clueless people. And this showed up. I'm like, what is it? So if you click on it, it is actually happens to be in Egypt, and it's the famous White Desert National Park in Egypt. So apparently there's like these white stones, like the rocks are all white, and then the sand is like the normal color. And this is some kind of famous, I don't know, it looks like a Donald Duck head or something. So they got all these like weird, it's not enough that it's white, apparently we have to have weird shapes and whatever the heck that is. And I don't know, I've just never seen this before. That looks like I don't know, like a little weird Pokemon. Look, that thing looks like it looks like some kind of Egyptian head or something. Craziness. I have just absolutely never heard of this thing. So I don't know what the stone is. Like, why is the stone secret hidden gem in Egypt? Yup, like freaking just showed up for me. I don't know. Look at that. It's craziness. How to visit the Western Desert in Egypt. A secret place that isn't on everyone's list. Then you have to take a trip to the White Desert National Park. 90% of Egypt is made out of desert. Not just the Sahara, blah, blah. There is the Black Desert National Park and the White Desert National Park. I'm going to have to check out the Black Desert next. Hold on, quit that. Like, how to visit the Western Desert. That might be the Black Desert, I'm not sure. Crystal Mountain, where you could literally pick up crystals from the ground. My friend bought 2 of them to the jewelry shop in Aswan, and they made her 2 beautiful one-of-a-kind necklaces. I wonder what that crystal is. Quartz, maybe? After Crystal Mountain, what's the crystals? Okay, well, it's not super weird to be able to find some quartz crystals out there. Looks like maybe that's what that was. Last stop, White Desert. Used to be underwater. Might find a shark tooth. A mushroom, a chicken, and a sphinx are the shapes of the rocks. Wind erosion caused it against the chalk. Okay, I finally found out what this white stuff is. Chalk. Chalk. So there's like a chalk desert then. Sandboarding. That sounds like fun. Okay. All right, what's the Black Desert, Egypt then? Okay. So, black stones. All right. Not quite as weird as white. I'm assuming it's volcanic. Black desert near Farafra. Farafra. Cool. So was it like little, it looks like it's some kind of volcanic tidbits here. There's a lot of them though. Huh. Then what, did the sand fill in everywhere else? Maybe this black stuff's all underneath there too, but the sand went over it. And that would be why. I'm wondering if this has altered coloration here. Maverick bird and trips. Huh. I mean, if they just cranked the... This looks like it's the real color, and maybe they just cranked the heck out of the yellow. I'm wondering if this is gonna like fill in that it's gonna be the black and gold desert. Oh, kitty, I hear you. What do you want? I have the door open since it's so hot. Huh, okay. Well, it's not that yellow yet, I don't think, but maybe. Cool, okay. Another one, speaking of Iran, this one just showed up. I don't think I've ever seen these ruins before, and they're not tiny. It's called the Merv ruins. And supposedly one of the oldest ruins in the world. Okay, so those little donkeys have to work hard, huh? Okay, let's see. I don't know, have you guys seen these ruins before? Some scaffolding. Just like fingers or something. So, you know, these are really unique looking. I feel like I would have remembered if I'd seen these before. It looks like there's a few other things there. I don't know what's up with this. And there's supposedly a mausoleum, which I believe is this. I'm going to bet that there'll be more stuff, too. I don't think we're done. So I call it the fingers building because it looks like fingers. It kind of looks like those, there's a cookie that's like long and skinny, and it's kind of shaped like that. It reminds me of those cookies. Buddhist stupa. So what, they got all kinds of stuff. So, mosque and mausoleum complex. Okay. More stuff. Okay. It is not known who's buried in the tomb, and there's no sarcophagus in the tomb. But they assume it's a tomb? What if it's not a tomb? Maybe it's a fancy building. Okay, so I need to jump back here and find the wiki for it. Merv. On the historical Silk Road near Turkmenistan. Was it in maybe it was Turkmenistan and not Iran, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Merv was the seat of the Caliph al-Ma'mun and the capital of the entire Islamic Caliphate. Then there's a whole bunch of names I have never heard of. Served later as the seat of the Taharid governors of the Khorasan. In the 11th and 12th centuries, Merv was the capital of the great Seljuk Empire until that fell, and then it was the chief center of Islamic and science and culture. The great Persian polymath Omar Khayyam, among others, blah, 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 blah. Zoroastrianism considered holy. Merv was Moru, one of the 16 perfect lands created by the god Ahura Mazda. Merv served as the seat of the Easturian. Okay, then finally we're getting into like some place where I've heard were the more recent kingdoms. Okay, ruled by Parthians, Sasanians, Arabs, Ghaznavids, Seljuks, Khwarezmians, and Timurids, among others. Was a major Iranian city in Central Asia on the historic Silk Road. Existed since at least the 3rd millennium, and there's a lot of talk about like the beginning of it is just not known. It's before time, so that's pretty interesting. Anyway, yeah. I just thought it was really cool. Yeah, it is interesting. I did notice that a couple of the buildings have a lot of that flavor of the melted, this one specifically, I think. The Tartaria thing, they have a lot of talk about the melted looking buildings. And I have to say, when they first started talking about it and they showed examples, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really see it that much. Some look like that a fire had hit them, but they didn't really look melted. Others look like they had just built into the side of a existing rock structure, and I didn't really feel it was melted as so much as they just built up to the edge of an existing structure. But then later, there were more and more images that I felt kind of fit the bill. Now, this thing being like prehistoric, basically, and I'm kind of guessing that this is not the like toughest stone in the West, or in the East, I should say. So I could see this kind of like a gajillion years of rain, kind of smoothing the edges and stuff. So, that's another thing to think about on some of this is it really melted, or is it just like so old, like so ridiculously old that it's... So if we've kind of seen now that if the rain hits something for gajillions of years, on some of these stones, it'll kind of just redistribute molecule by molecule the stone. So I do kind of wonder if maybe that'll be the explanation for some of it. The timeline hasn't decided what new mysteries it will give us yet. Okay, so for people who don't know what's going on in the current world, Israel just sent a bunch of missiles over to Iran with the claim that they're trying to wipe out the nuclear program that most experts say Iran doesn't have a nuclear program. It doesn't seem to have one. All it has is some kind of a big stash of enriched uranium. It is not enough enrichment to be weapons grade. But now, I don't know. So Israel is, since for like decades, Israel has been saying, oh no, Iran's going to get nuclear weapons. And it's interesting because in the last few months, I heard all these rumors that Israel has secret nuclear weapons. No, they didn't nuke them. It's just conventional missiles. But they're basically trying to bomb all the nuke areas, which of course could cause a big disaster. But Iran apparently put most of their nuke stuff underground, so they can bomb at the top of it, but they can't really, Israel does not have the weapons to get underground to the main facilities. They can bomb whatever on the top. They've bombed some oil depots and stuff. Obviously, people have died. The trouble is that Iran said no, it's tricky because Trump said, oh, well, you've got to give up all of your nuclear stuff. But Iran has a nuclear power plant. It costs at least $1 billion to build, and it runs a bunch of their cities. It powers their cities. And so Trump was saying, well, you have to give up that too. And they're like, no, we're not going to. That's ridiculous. I think they always wanted to bomb because the demands were rather ridiculous. And although Iran did have a deal where that they could go in and inspect, Trump canceled that. So it basically canceled the inspections and then said, oh, you have nukes and we got to bomb you now. Or, none of it. I'm just so embarrassed because it's just so wrong. And most people in the country don't even know any of the details other than the propaganda. And it just pisses me off. So, yeah, they bombed a bunch. And then Iran has some pretty good missiles. So they were able to get some through the Iron Dome. One of the things is nobody really knows how many missiles Iran has. They've kind of sent less. They sent less because they're stockpiling them, because they're running out, or because they kind of want this to end, But then Trump is saying, he's threatening that if they don't, I don't know, what are they even supposed to do? Give up? It's a huge country. What are they going to do? What do you mean? I don't even know what Trump says he wants them to do. The Ayatollah already said that he doesn't want nuclear weapons for the country because it goes against the religion. They've been saying that for years. He said you can come and inspect to make sure we don't have any. He's been saying that for years. So why are we bombing them? It's because Israel wants to, basically. But Trump's been saying that, oh, we're going to have to, if Iran doesn't do I don't even know what, then Trump's going to go in there and drop the big bunker buster bombs, or maybe he's not, or who the heck even knows. And so we're kind of thinking, well, so what? Is Israel can't get the job done, and so now they're crying to us? Well, I don't want anything to do with it. No one ever attacks Australia. Yeah, because Australia is already a slave to the Western system, and it totally obeys everything. So what are we going to get out of Australia? Your banking system is controlled. Everything is controlled, like all of the EU and the United States and the Britain. Was it the Five Eyes? You guys are Five Eyes. Yeah, well, see, that's exactly it. I do not blame Iran for wanting to get a nuke. Because if they got them, then people would probably stop bombing them. North Korea is totally crazy, but or appears to be totally crazy, but nobody bothers them at all. How many Israel has been assassinating and bombing Iran for a while now, but they just sent a bunch of them out yesterday. There's been multiple assassinations in different areas over preceding months too. So, I don't know do people think Iran's just going to roll over and do what? It's a huge country. It's way bigger than Israel. The population is much larger. And frankly, I think that, they will stick it out no matter how horrible it is, because they already lost 700,000 people in the 60s, 70s when that Iraq war happened. I think their tolerance for suffering is a lot higher than Israel. Yeah, after you read the history of what we did to Iran, it's yeah, I don't blame them for building up their military. I really don't. So Iran doesn't have nukes. Everybody agrees they don't have them, but they have somewhat enriched uranium that they use in their power plant, and somehow the bots are all spreading that, oh, their nuke program, which as far as we know doesn't really consist of anything other than uranium, which they need for their power plant. So, I mean, who the heck knows? I don't know what Iran has underground. The experts say they don't think they have that they don't have an actual program. The Ayatollah says that they don't. I wouldn't swear that they don't. But then again, like I said, a lot of people think that Israel does have nukes. So that's, to me, at least as scary as Iran having them. I actually don't think Iran, if they had nukes, is going to be like nuking people. Because, I mean, North Korea didn't nuke people. They have nukes. Because they're not that stupid. They know if they send nukes, then they're going to get sent right back, and then half the world's going to be gone. They understand that. Israel has backing of the U.S. and they get weapons for us. Yes, that's true, but they still have a limited number in their tiny little country, so... They may get what they want, but I think Iran's biding their time. But what do they even want? We don't know. Like, I don't even understand exactly. Like, they said they want Iran to, like, close down their power plant. And I don't think they're going to do that. I really don't. And if they did kowtow to that and become a doormat, then I think the doormat demands would never end. Because Israel actually just wants to bomb them. And I don't think that they'll ever be satisfied with anything that Iran gives. I mean, frankly, I have to say that if I was Iran, I would secretly develop nuclear weapons underground. That's why, even though a lot of people are saying they don't, the experts were there and they sniff around with their radiation detectors and stuff. Iran's a big country. If it was me, I would secretly develop them, but not bomb anybody. And then finally, when I was done, say, I have nukes, don't bomb me. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. But you know what? I am not like a religious Muslim, and they have a lot of opinions on what is, in their religion. And I don't know all the stuff in their religion, and I am not, a religious leader. And so there's all those factors too. And maybe he, doesn't want to lie. I don't know. Can people just live in peace and not be so immature? Apparently not. So a lot of people think it's just this, that like the military industrial complex needs a constant string of wars so that they have to make more bombs and equipment, so they have a constant income stream. And Israel, I don't know what's up with Israel, but they're just like, they're always bombing everybody. Maybe it's just like the timelines, maybe it's just got to be crazy. I don't know. Because like it used to be we'd at least have one war at a time, and everything is so escalated now. So, it'd be like we had the Ukraine war. We're not even done with that. And then there's like, they're talking about the Iran war. And then what about the EU's talking about a war with Russia? I don't think Russia wants a war. Not that kind of war anyway. Only men have these emotional issues. I am so sorry, but that is just not the case. There's women. First of all, the aren't violent thing, that's really changing in the United States and in backwards in time. You're seeing a lot more. Like, I never heard of mass murder or women in my old timeline. Like, you just did it, and now there's quite a number of them. And like the Amazons, that was just a legend. It wasn't real, but now there really were Amazon warriors and stuff. So I would say that women, we tend to be less like punch you in the face violent, but there's still a lot of stuff that goes on. Yeah, there's plenty of women that are saber rattling these days. That's one of the timelines things anyway. I would still say that we're less likely to go and just punch people, but that is like changing. If you ever watch Reddit, there's plenty of like fist fights with women now. Yeah, my timeline, that's this timeline, Bubba. Sorry. We're all cooked. But it can change again. I don't know. I don't know where it's going. And maybe, like, people are saying, okay, the sickness is you letting go of the poison. Maybe that it just has to. There's a lot of people saying that everything goes to hell in a handbasket before it remodels. Like, the old systems have to get destroyed, and I don't mean like bombing a country to death, but like there's a couple things. I think one might be this, that it gets more and more obvious that this is bull. Like, the lies of the government get more obvious, and they get more frequent, and they get more outrageous. And now that we already didn't find, like, we already had oh my gosh, we have to preemptively attack Iraq because of the weapons of mass destruction. And that's all such a joke now, because everybody's like, yeah, like the weapons of mass destruction, So, okay, what? Now Iran, same thing, just as even less good evidence. Like, there's no good evidence. There's no evidence that they have any nukes. Oh, they could get them. They could get them, but that's been true for 30 years they've been claiming. So it's just getting more and more obvious. So maybe, like, people are giving opportunity. Are you going to see that there's lies and this is baloney? Are you, or are you not? Are you going to start, people on the left, you need to start distrusting the left. People on the right need to start distrusting the right, because this is all just propaganda from both sides. I don't know if it's all propaganda, but there's a lot of propaganda from both sides. Divide and conquer. So despite all this, will we finally be able to reach across the aisle? And I think, it's the left and the right, male and female, the young and the old, the boomers and the millennials. We got to be ready to reach across the aisle and listen to the other side all the way across. And, it's more of a challenge than ever, but I think that's the point. This is challenge level 2.0 now, so it's harder. So you still have to do the same. The challenge, I think, is still the same as it was before, but it's a harder level now. Ruins in the Merv. Check that out. Boy, that really, that looks like bricks, and that looks like melted, and then there's... What's this? So I don't know, some of this might be repairs, but there looks like there's red bricks in there. Interesting. More fingers. Big fingers, little fingers. It's definitely a different style of construction than I think I've ever seen. At least the fingers are. Excuse me. Excuse me, double excuse me. I mean, what did that even look like in there? I think I have the hiccups. What were these things? What were they like? It's weird because that kind of reminds me of the base of the World Trade Center had that same pattern. Obviously not in stone, but... So to me, this is pretty new in the timeline, and I'm very curious to see how, I bet we'll get more stuff, basically, more structures here. Okay, so Jackie was talking about how she never saw the Shiva with the glowing red hand. Well, I just typed in Shiva on Google, and I did not find anything with the glowing red hand. So I don't know if it's just the weird algorithms of Google, or we're out of that timeline and only Jackie was in it for 5 seconds, or what, because I've definitely had that happen. But I did take the time to take a quick gander at Shiva at CERN to see what's up. And so I'd say there's more purple staining, And one thing that really jumped out is this hand is just like, I don't remember all three of these hands all being clumped up together. Like, two were like up here and one was like out there. I'm looking at this and I'm like this snake was not hidden by this hand. And also when I'm really looking at this, I'm like, these hands, these back set of arms are longer now. This has got a huge bend on it. I don't remember seeing like the armpit and this thing dangling down here. I don't know what this is, like the scarf bit or something. I don't remember seeing a scarf bit here at that slot. So if you look, and like this one is, it looks like this one's a lot longer because it's really bent and it goes the same distance as this one. And then this one, I don't remember it being way up here. I thought it was over like here. So I think this arm is like longer. But then I realized something else too. Let me see what else. Oh, and this guy, he's getting bigger and more ornate slowly. And if you hone in on the mouth, you can see up in the mouth now. And you didn't used to be able to see like up in there. His face now is just a lot more detailed. And very slowly getting larger, like very, very slowly. Okay, so I looked at this and I realized, like, we had talked before about Shiva coming out of the ring. I think it's whatever it's coming more out of the ring. And I think part of it is that this arm is coming out like more out of the ring. It used to be, and then this leg, I think it's basically moving. So there was a point when I still call it he, whatever, was in the ring, and then we like, oh wait, she's coming out. I think it's more out. I can't stop saying she, because to me, Shiva was she. Then it was a he. Now it can be either. Doink. Okay. Oh, this is an interesting angle. You know what's weird about this is like this arm looks like it's in a different spot so much according to what angle you look at. I'm trying to figure out where I guess the third arm is out here. Here it looks much more down. I mean, I do understand that it'll depend on what height when you're taking the image, but from the back, suddenly it looks like it's way down there. And this is one of the reasons that really convinced me that it changed, because I looked at the back ones a lot. I never saw arm like right there. And then the butt looks like it got small or something, and the butt looks really different than I remember from the back. The face has gotten fatter for a while. So the back view here, it looks like it's really coming out. What is the other thing I wanted to say? That is the same one, I think, right? Secret Shiva and wait, I gotta make sure it said CERN or it doesn't count. Yeah, see this arm here, I don't remember it casting a big old shadow on that, on the ring. Okay, there's a close-up. The other thing I noticed is there's like a lot going on with the ears. Like there's a huge ear ring thing here, but then over here, it's not like a ring. I don't know, like it's only a ring on that side, but it's not a ring on that side. I also think the fingers have changed on here, because I don't remember them being quite that, I don't know, they look like they're broken. They were a little weird before, but they weren't like, this finger looks like it's busted off. And it doesn't look like a finger could do that, basically. So I'm thinking that's changed. Doink. So I'm looking at what parts are still attached. I think this is attached to the ring, maybe. And what parts are still attached? I thought maybe this was, but now I'm looking at it and even this doesn't look like it's attached. Maybe the back of the headdress? Okay, so I think this hand, this piece, the foot is on the little demon and the demon is attached to the ring. So that's not attached. I don't think that's attached. This is interesting because I swear I looked earlier and I thought this, whatever this array is, was attached. But there's not many parts that are actually stuck on. Here, here, and there, I think is it. So, I mean, she could swing out even more, I guess. Pretty soon she'll be like in the grass outside the statue. You know, I went to google.com and I typed in Shiva. And I just didn't find any images of Shiva with a glowing hand. So I don't know. Did you type in something else? Because I tried to do it like I would have done it in the past to see if like the same old search got a different answer. Apparently if you tell yourself you don't have hiccups, then it goes away. You know, there's a theory that if you really believe anything, then it could happen. I did find that if I kind of just, when the hiccup wants to hit, if you kind of push the other way, you can kind of stop them. I don't know how to describe it. They don't really understand hiccups. They were saying it's some kind of thing left over from when we had swim bladders, or who the heck knows. I'm waiting for the timeline to explain what hiccups are. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's like, they're weapons of mass destruction and they're surely going to bomb us. So we have to bomb them first. And we're defending ourselves by bombing other people. It's just craziness. I really don't think Iran, if they did have a nuke, was going to immediately bomb Israel. I'm sorry. I just don't think so, because they know that we would bomb them with our nukes and Israel would bomb them with their probably nukes that they probably have. It's like, you know, the Ayatollah is not that crazy. There's no way. If North Korea is not that crazy, then the Ayatollah is not that crazy. So that's why I'm like, this whole thing is just stupid. Is the statue holding new things compared to before? So way back, I remember Shiva holding a trident at one point, but that was a lot of years ago. But it was the CERN Shiva that had the trident. And then for many years now, it's been that, I don't know, was it like that, what even is that thing that's held? It's like this, I want to say it's for like, it looks like a little thing for throwing dice, or is a little bongo drum thing, or I don't even know. I should probably look that up one of these days. Okay, and then in the other hand, she had that little flame. Now, I think originally the flame was just a flame out of the hand, but now it's got a little cup thingy. Okay, you can see the... Oh, interesting. All right, I don't think this guy had these hope rings either before. You can see way up into the mouth now. You can see that the mustache is coming off the face now. Excuse me. There's just a lot more detail. I think also this face was kind of flat with just the patterns in, and now, you know, he's getting a whole facial structure. It's bizarre how these things just grow like this. So swim bladders are what fish have, okay? They have, assuming they still have it, but so how do, like, fish, they control the pressure inside their body, and that is supposed to help them rise and fall in the water table by how much like air. Yeah, it's like a diving bladder for fish. So they call them swim bladders. Who knows if that's even a thing? I think it's still a thing, but... Okay, so yeah, see, now there's no... I saw like one that still had a trident, but look at all this stuff in all the hands. So I think that might be this thing that is what the one at CERN has, but I don't even know what it is. What are they holding? Yeah, I don't know. I think I kind of looked before and I couldn't sort it out. Okay, so yeah, you know what? Gold Shiva. How come there's so many arms again? Are we getting arms back? Now there's like an extra set instead of missing. All right, so all of these have the right number of arms. Wait a minute, what's this? That's not Shiva though, that's Mahakali. Okay, let's try. There's all these versions of Shiva now, and I'm like, maybe there's one per timeline, but why did that one have all those arms? Okay. It doesn't... Oh, look. Okay, Nataraja Shiva has what? Really weird, sticky, outy arm? Look at those arms. Alright, so that's how it's done now. With the bendy arm. So they're all like that now. The bendy arm, the straight. So I guess that back set of arms is just longer now. Because it's even more so in these. They all have this really weird side arm thing. It's crazy. Alright, there's the back. Spider-Man. Spider arms. So it looks like these, like this back set of arms is just getting like beefy. So yeah, they didn't used to look like they had at one set of longer ones. This one has that same thing. What is that thing in the hand? All right, what does Shiva hold in his hand? What does Shiva hold in his hand? Thunk. This thing. No, that's not. He does hold up something, though. Ah, see, he holds up a trident in some forms. I still remember there being a trident. Small drum, that must be it. Which represents Brahmin. Represents Sabda Brahmin. So what's different between Sabda Brahmin? There's more than one Brahmin now. I remember Brahmin being the Om sound, but I don't remember there being a special Brahmin, Sabda Brahmin. See, it just, you can't even keep up with all this stuff. Sabda Brahmin versus regular Brahmin. Okay, Brahman. Sabda, Brahmin, and Brahmin are closely related but have distinct connotations. Brahmin refers to ultimate unchanging reality. Brahmin is not limited to any particular form or manifestation. Sabda Brahmin is a specific aspect of Brahmin that emphasizes the role of sound, word, or vibration as a manifestation of the divine. Okay. So it's the sound version, the sound subsegment of the Brahmin. Okay. Interesting. I don't... I have never heard that term, Sabda Brahman. There used to be just one. Lord Shiva is often depicted with glowing fiery elements in his hands, symbolizing his power. Okay. How many hands does Shiva have? Let's see. How many arms does Shiva have? Arm count. Calmly depicted with 4 arms. Each arm holds a symbolic object, axe, such as an axe, a deer, a bow, an arrow. I have not seen one with a deer. There are variations depending on the specific representation. You know what? Let me ask DeepSeek because I don't really trust Brave. DeepSeek. Let's wake you up here. This one that comes with Brave, it gets stuff wrong a lot. Now, not that DeepSeek is 100%, but it has a lot fewer mistakes. Multiple arms, normally 4 arms. In some fierce forms, like Nataraja, the cosmic dancer, he may have more arms, sometimes up to 8 or more, to represent his divine power and cosmic activities. In rare depictions, like Sada Shiva, he may have 10 arms, 2 for each of his 5 faces. So he has 5 faces now. So, well, okay. So what? We got a different set of arms for each timeline or something. Doesn't it just seem like everything is additive? You know, first there was 6 and then there was only 4. Now there's like all of the above and maybe 8 or 10. I mean, it's not the first time we've searched that, and it was always 4 for years before, like way back when it was 6. And he was blue and was a she. Yeah, well, I believe you, Shari, on that, because clearly we were all trying to figure out where the 6 hands blue one went, and now... This is the god many see on drug trips. I don't know, you know, like I have gotten like this kind of, I don't know, India feel, like a kind of... But I never really saw Shiva specifically. Or any specific god. Oh, interesting. So, like, although I do remember blue female Shiva with 6 arms, I don't remember there being a thing in all the arms either. I sure as heck never heard of them carrying a deer. I've looked at this enough times, and there was never a freaking deer. So the last time I looked there just now, it said a deer. I don't know what this thing is. I never saw those. I didn't see these. The small drum thing that is in the CERN one doesn't look like these. And this got 2. I have seen a trident, and I've seen that drum thing. I've certainly never seen a deer. Craziness. Oh, dang, $2,000. How big is this thing? 77 centimeters? It's not that big. Okay. Better be good quality for that price. Medusa. Well, there is a bunch of snakes, so that's a good point. Maybe there's going to be like snakes now or something. Are we back in the timeline before 9/11, or do we dive? I don't even know. Like, there's a part of me that goes, everything really sucks compared to years ago, like the 90s. But then I'm like, well, maybe this is just the truth that was already under there and it's just being forced out. So now it's just the truth is being displayed. It's everybody's hidden emotions and crap and stuff is like out. So is it really worse? That much worse, or maybe it was already there. I don't know. I do feel like I've been kind of like forced to deal with a lot of my crap because it just started amplifying, and I just had to, like, stuff that you could just shove under the carpet before, now you can't because it'll make you crazy. So, you know what, though? I mean, like, the level of stuff that happens now. I mean, like, when I was growing up, there weren't school shootings all the time. And it was rare that there'd be riots during demonstrations. And you could have a political conversation with most people without them never wanting to talk to you again, even if they disagreed with you. And it was pretty common back then to just think, well, that guy's mistaken because they don't agree with me. But you didn't think that they were evil and deserved to die. I mean, like, the level of extremist behaviors is just, and belief systems is so much higher now. There's just no freaking way. Well, we used to talk to our neighbors and you would say hi and they would say hi, and people would ask for a cup of sugar and all that stuff. And it wasn't that long ago. I mean, things were different back then. We would sometimes help our neighbors do like projects, like fix their fence or something. I mean, like, good luck now. Nobody helps anybody. She said, don't worry, what is supposed to happen will happen. I tend to kind of go with that on my good days when I'm not stressing out of stuff. I think that is probably how it works. I don't think you go until it's your time. Also, Iran is huge. I mean, like, they're not going to get even 1% of the people of Iran. There's no way. So Iran-Iraq war, I think, was different. Iraq was going to try to take over, and Lord knows what Saddam would have done if he won. But now I'm just like, what do you think you're going to do? I mean, nobody wants to go in on foot and try to control Iran. It's a huge country. It'll economically tank anybody who tries. So what do they even think they're going to get accomplished? That's another thing. I'm like, what do you think you're going to get? I think maybe Israel just wants to bomb a bunch of the military stuff so that they hope maybe Iran couldn't send any more missiles. I think that Iran has a lot of missile stuff underground, so Israel is not going to accomplish that. But nobody, I don't think I mean, what kind of idiot? I hope nobody should be that stupid to think they're going to go into Iran and actually fight in there. Not like the war was, because in that Iraq was really invading and was going to take over. So I mean, they may be hoping for regime change, but there's no reason to suspect that. And I'm like, are they really that stupid? I mean, like, the government is pretty stable over there. It's similar to Russia. So I wonder if are they just saying that to try to give like a plausible crappy storyline for us masses to supposedly believe? Are they really stupid enough to believe that? Because I have not seen one molecule of evidence that the Iranian government is unstable. Yeah, I mean, saying that Israel doesn't want to bomb a bunch of civilians kind of goes against what they've obviously been doing for like a couple of years now, so. I mean, how many people are even left alive in Gaza? I mean, like, they had to have killed maybe, God, they're just, like, at least 100,000 people. I think there's only one hospital left in Gaza, and they're, last I heard, they were attacking that one. And there's, like, no food. So love and light, I've definitely heard that as a, like, kind of a blessing thing for a long time. I think a lot of people in Israel don't even know that's happening. I mean, their government tells them that it's all just a big propaganda and all the Gaza people are fine and they're just whiny. And they believe it. A lot of them do, because they don't know, they don't get access to a lot of alternative information. They're not going to be able to do the same thing they did to Gaza to Iran. There's no way. Iran is absolutely massive. There's not enough bombs in the planet. They've used up a lot of them on Gaza. So there's no freaking way. I mean, Gaza is a small area with a lot of people packed in. Iran is very much the opposite. There's no way. I mean, what's the population? Iran has like 10 times more people than Israel. Okay, speaking of gross stuff. So there was a thing not maybe a few years ago that showed up in history where they said, oh, people in Europe used to think that eating mummies, Egyptian mummies, was somehow like healthful, like it was a medicine. You want to joke about the ancient Chinese medicine narrative that just is everywhere, but I mean, like, hello, we're gonna eat mummies. So supposedly, I think there's a lot more mummies now than there was at my timeline, but supposedly they would take them to Europe and like eat them. Okay, so now the story has grown. The last line of a 17th century poem prompted Nobel's quest. Women, the line read, are not only sweetness and wit, but mummy possessed. The word recurs throughout the literature of early modern Europe. Shakespeare's Othello, Edmund Spenser's The Fairy Queen. Because mummies and other preserved and fresh human remains were a common ingredient in the medicine. Not long ago, Europeans were cannibals. So it wasn't just like this trend now where for a short while people ate mummies. I mean, like, who would even think that? That's just weird. For several hundred years, peaking in the 16th and 17th centuries, many Europeans, including royalties, priests, and scientists, routinely ingested remedies containing human bones, blood, and fat as medicine for everything from headaches to epilepsy. There were few vocal opponents of the practice, even though cannibalism in the newly explored Americas were reviled as a mark of savagery. Mummies were stolen from Egyptian tombs, and skulls were taken from Irish burial sites. Grave diggers robbed and sold body parts. Yeah, I thought that was for study, not for eating. The question was not should you eat human flesh, but what sort of flesh should you eat? The answer at first was Egyptian mummy, which was crumbled into tinctures to staunch internal bleeding, but other parts where body soon followed. Skull was one common ingredient, taken in powdered form to cure head ailments. Tom Willis, the 17th century pioneer of brain science, brewed a drink for apoplexy, or bleeding, that mingled powdered human skull and chocolate. And King Charles of England sipped the King's Drops, his personal tincture containing human skull and alcohol. Even the toupee of moss that grew over a buried skull called the usnea became a prized additive. Its powder believed to cure nosebleeds and possibly epilepsy. Human fat was used to treat the outside of the body. German doctors, for instance, prescribed bandages soaked in human fat, and rubbing fat into the skin was considered a remedy for gout. Blood was procured as fresh as possible, thought to contain the vitality of the body. Okay, it goes on and on. You get it. You don't have to hear the whole thing, but it's just like gross. I mean, some of this probably you could argue has some logic to it, like the nutrients in blood. If you're low, there's a lot of nutrients in blood and iron and stuff. And so if they didn't know anything about vitamins, and then like skull has calcium. Quite possibly, if you didn't have enough calcium, it could help out. Calcium is really essential. So, you know, maybe, but it's just, I don't really think that this was a thing. Even when the mummies thing showed up, it was already creepy enough, but now it's just like they're cannibals. I don't think so. Let me just write this down. I don't think I put it in. Gotta write it down before I erase it. So sorry about that. One guy kicked a penguin at Melbourne tram station. Yeah, you didn't even have penguins before. Now you're kicking them. Cannibalism is the new normal. And it went backward in time. Ugh. Yeah, I've definitely had times when, like during COVID, there was a day when it said that a bunch of cases were found in San Francisco, and San Francisco has decided to quarantine or something, like go on lockdown. Oh, to announce a state of emergency. That's what it was. They decided to announce a state of emergency. And I'm like, and I saw all, and then there was this whole storyline of where they thought it came from. And I'm like, oh no, that's bad, you know, scary. Because I didn't really know what was going on. That was really early days of COVID, and everybody's hoping that won't spread and there won't be a lot of cases. So I'm like, that sucks. And I read some articles on it. And then in the morning I got up and I went, let me just find out what's going on in San Francisco now. And it hadn't happened. It suddenly wasn't true. Like they had not declared a state of emergency. They had not found a bunch of cases. And then a couple of days later, another version of that happened where they found more cases, but the story was a little different, and they finally did declare the state of emergency. But so I had been in a timeline where it happened a couple of days earlier, basically. So that was trippy. I believe the storyline was one man kicking a penguin, and now it's 3 men. How can you find 3 men jerky enough to kick a penguin? 3 men kick a penguin. Seriously? Like, why would you kick, what is it, like bratty teenager evil people or something? 3 men kick a penguin. 5 men saw it. Now it's 5. I saw it after Saint killed a little penguin thrown kick before death. Aww. Hopefully it's just all storyline and some poor... Yeah, there's 5 of them. 5 of them are kicking the penguin now. Attacked by a group of young men. Would you guys have penguins all over Australia now, I guess? Yeah. The little penguin colony at St. Kilda are famous. Okay, so this is creepy news now, basically shops around the fact that there's a whole bunch of penguins in freaking Australia hanging out on the beach. because who knew that? You thought there was one, then there was three, now there's five. I mean, and it clearly shows 5 men doing it, so... Yep, it's 5. Next shift 30. Yeah, there's going to be like a whole it's going to be like a whole soccer game of penguin or something. You have to laugh. Don't you feel trolled? Now it's penguin soccer. Evil Australian tradition, penguin soccer. Okay, speaking of screaming and little crabby animals, Jackie found this thing. Apparently we have screaming hairy armadillos now. And they come in albino, but this is not an albino one. It seems like they make good pets, because, like, doesn't everything make good pets or kind of okay pets? At least it doesn't bite your face off pets. Including this guy seems pretty cute. And they make this weird noise. I'm pretty sure you can hear it. I have it set. That's the noise they make. They got weird little feet. And they like yogurt. So what can you feed armadillos yogurt? Shouldn't they eat like bugs or something? Do you remember that? Let's see now. That was the pink fairy armadillo. That was one of the early mandanimals. Pink fairy armadillo. That is the craziest thing. There's still not very many images of it. Why does it look so yellow in that one? They look so fake. That like looks ridiculous. This is the most stupidest looking animal. Pink shell and furry body. Who wrote that thing? Who made this? Okay, that's the craziest armadillo, and it's one of the older mandanimals for me. I think they've gotten more pink and more cute with the cute white body. I think they weren't that white before. Yeah, it looks even more ridiculous now. God, they look like a combination, like, I don't know, cat and a shrimp or something. Okay, so that's the craziest thing. I think they even more pink than I remember. Alright, so let's see. Albino screaming. There's probably other weird ones. I should probably just look. A rare variant of the screaming hairy armadillo. Alright. Alright, I think that's the albino one. Is that even a real video? Wait, where did that image go? It's gone. That's weird. That looks like a gremlin. Oh, look, it's got pretty yellow on it now. Okay, some have yellow. They can roll into a complete ball now. My old ones could not do that. And they kind of jump up and go bloop. Man, there's a lot of kinds. What's the weirdest armadillo? That thing comes up again. All right, let's see. See, they're able to completely close in now. So for me, they had like the shell, but they couldn't make like a total pill originally. But it's been a while now that they could. Baby one. Okay, well, I'm sure there'll be more, but... Yeah, animals are definitely smarter. That was one of the first manned animals. I'm surprised you didn't know that one. Pink panther. Is there a real pink panther? Let's see. Let's see. Some leopards can have a genetic condition called erythristic fur. What the heck? I've not heard of that one. Which gives them a reddish or pinkish coloration. Additionally, there have been strawberry leopard. Alright, let's see. Erythristic panther. What the? Leopard with a rare genetic mutation called erythrism. It's not very pink yet. Oh, that's I noticed that the domestic cats that have the tiger pattern, of which one visits here, and I named him Tiger. And I noticed like about a week ago, the whole front of the nose now is like red, like he is a tiger. And he didn't, like this area here got like really, really orange basically. And I noticed that for him. And then I went online and I looked, and they all, like a whole bunch of them, the tiger striped tabbies that have more of the brown tone now have that. All right, let's go to Google and see if they have it. So that's a change that I saw recently on the domestic cats that come here. So Tiger, he's the only dark striped cat that'll come in here. He has very specific behavior, so there's no way it wasn't him. Pink panther. Yeah, it's not exactly pink yet. Wouldn't be surprised if down the line we got something. Rock, Valero's and red, two lesser known Brazilian mystery cats. What the hell? Valero's rock jaguar and red jaguar. Is that even a real image? I think it's fake. Quintanari. Did Valero's Quintanari? What's a Quintanari? A taxonomy specimen of apparent reddish leopard. Spied and photographed by Bill Rebsman. Okay, so that was like a reproduction of what they remembered. Okay, so they existed apparently at some point, according to one guy. Normally I would just poo-poo that off in the old days, but now, yeah, probably means we're gonna get it. Okay, we got you. Fill in the blank. I'm gonna blank my horse to the Old Town Road. I have no idea. Ride? You know, see, like a lot of this stuff, I just don't know, like, how much of reality is even real. Because a lot of these horrible disasters, and then you look at where they happen, and they're like parts of a continent that are new, like they weren't even there, or islands that are new that didn't even exist. And then they'll, like, you know, 2/3 of the houses on this island are gone. I'm like, there was no island there. So, you know, and Iran and those places, man, the shape, I mean, they're way too big, a lot of them. Kazakhstan. I was just looking at Iran. It's freaking huge. I'm not even sure if, like, all of that spot is, like, real. Google Earth. I wish they would delineate it. I mean, like, come on. Iran is bigger than, like, it's as big as half of Europe almost. It's insane how the size of it. Saudi Arabia, too. That's ridiculous. Look, Saudi Arabia is as big as... It's insanity. Finland, Sweden, Norway, those are ridiculous size, too. Or these guys shrunk. I don't know which. It's probably some of both, but UK is huge. Ukraine is bigger than all these countries. No way. That was not the way it was. Kazakhstan. When's Kazakhstan going to start being a player? Because it's huge. It's freaking huge. I mean, Afghanistan used to be pretty big, but now Iran, all these other countries are way bigger. Even Uzbekistan's pretty big now. Like, all this stuff here, it was dinky, and this was big. All the stands are, like, taking over. And there was a time when India was just truly massive. Like, it was one of the biggest countries. And now, yeah, it's not that big. It's not tiny, but it's not that big. Like, something's off. Guinea-Bissau. What is this? The Gambia. Did we have that before? The Gambia. I think we did cover Gambia. The Gambia. Guinea-Bissau. I'm not sure if I covered Guinea-Bissau before. That one sounds a little suspicious. Guinea-Bissau? Did I have that before? The Gambia is weird. It just sticks into Senegal like that. All these little dinky... What's this thing? Equatorial Guinea. I think I had that. All these little dinky things are showing up. What is this thing? Right here is... What is that? Pointe Noire? Is that a country? Pointe Noire is a port city and oil industry hub in the Republic of Congo, known for its beaches. Okay, there's something... Malongo? Is that the country? Malongo. What is this thing? What is this? There's something carved out here, but what's the name of it? Malongo, Angola. This is Angola? In the enclave of Angola. Okay, so that is Angola. Enclave. Angola is a... What does that even mean, an enclave? Isn't that a country? The country of the West Coast. Okay. Seventh largest country in Africa. That little putty thing is the 7th largest country in Africa. What are we even looking at here? Oh, okay, okay. So, okay. All right. So this all is Angola, but they have a little snippet over here, apparently. Okay, I don't remember that being a thing. All right, that explains it. Okay, there's this. Lesotho, that showed up. Eswatini, that was recent. All these little tidbit places. Gonda. We covered that one. Millions of tidbits. So they're down there is all the tidbit places. Djibouti. What about over here? Okay, I think that there's... I don't see any other ones. I think we'll get more tidbit places. Even Europe got a couple of those. Like this thing, which I believe is what? It was part of Russia? I think. This thing, yeah. Kaliningrad, I think, or was that the city? Anyway, yeah, there's this. I'm pretty sure that was part of Russia now. There, and then over there. Montenegro. Montenegro. I thought that was just like a city. A Balkan country. That's weird, because I thought that was a city. I didn't know it was a country. Montenegro is a country. Look at here. This, I think, Corsica? No, Sardinia. Sardinia is bigger than Sicily almost now. That was just a dinky little island. Haven't got the bridge here yet. 10,000 feet. It's 10 miles, so 5 miles. Was it two-ish miles now? I'm waiting for that bridge to come in. Gibraltar's another one that could get a bridge. Okay, well, we could go on forever on that. Oh, yeah, that was another thing I was noticing the other... I think here, this Greece islandy stuff, when it showed up, I was like, I don't really remember it being that, like, I don't know, like, scrambled up right there. And that area, I think, keeps getting bigger, too, that scrambly area. I just remember kind of like Greece here with a few islands, not like a bajillion islands. And I don't remember there being a bajillion islands on the Turkey side. And I don't remember it being like way out into the Mediterranean like this. This thing wasn't this big. What is even that country? Looks like it's Russian because this is all... Let's see. Heraklion. Well, no. All right. That's not Russian sounding. It definitely sounds Greek. Okay. Heraklion. I don't know. You know, you'd think because I have it set for English that it would give me like the English names of things, but no. Crete? It's huge. Is that an island? Crete? So yeah, that thing, it's getting huge. Oh, here. I don't know if you remember, but last time we looked, this area here was like really shallow, like this. And I said this finger is coming, and now it's like all deep water, looks like. So when does it say this was I'm trying to get the date here. Well, we can go and look at the dates, right? Historical imagery. Okay. So in 2020, that would be the last map. All right, so there is some color variation in the older, but not like we were seeing it. Huh. Okay, so this is attributed to, looks like 2021 right here. This is weird because up here I can get it to show 2021. And I come down here and it doesn't tell me any time for when this was taken. So, very interesting. Wow, look at... What is this? Like, this a complete and utter stretch of all the way down to here, unbroken. That, I think, is also changed. I think this, like, little finger grabby thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger, too. And this here, it splits off of Ukraine, and it's attaching to Russia. How's that for symbolic something? I think that's gotten bigger in there, too. Yep. That was only, like, half that size. This in here, I think, has gotten bigger, too. Dnieper River. Dnieper. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce that. Dnipro. Yeah, Dnipro. This is interesting because I think this river also has gotten a lot bigger in here now that I'm looking at it. Along with this Ukraine one. The other thing is this river, I thought it was further over here because when I was looking at it, and there was a lot of talk about the Russians going all the way to this river and then maybe stopping there because most of the Russians were on this side other than maybe Odessa, and they probably wouldn't want the Western, like, anti-Russian side. They probably want all the Russian-speaking side. And I remember looking at it and going, okay, so that's like a third of the Ukraine, right? But it really looks like more like half of the Ukraine now. If you look at where the Dnipro River is. So I'm wondering if it's sliding over maybe a little to the west here. It's like this piece here is getting larger. Or at least it's a larger percentage of Ukraine. Because it's like, you could definitely argue it's 2/5, even close to half. Yeah, 2/5 I would say. It's 2/5 of Ukraine now. It's a chunk. Creta, lovely island. Big fat Greek Mandela effect, yeah. Yeah, seriously. Oh yeah, Gibraltar used to be out in the ocean and now it's like just stuck on the shore. I don't think I've looked at Gibraltar in a long time. Last time I looked, it had grown a whole bunch of city and airports and stuff. Whoa. It's even more. Wow. I mean, unless they just built all these. Holy hand grenades. So, when did they build all those? I'm really suspicious that they've been there a long time. But so when this first came in, you could just, it was a rock out in the middle of the straits, and there wasn't anything on it because it was just a rock. It didn't have beach or anything. And then it kind of got stuck onto the side of the mainland, and then you started to see like a lot of infrastructure over along the side, but then you're like, okay, but from this one view, it still looked like the Rock of Gibraltar, but now, like from no views, there's like giant hotels, and I think there's way more beach, and so it's like, I mean, unless they built all those in the last year and a half, which seems highly unlikely to me. Let me just look. I never saw that end. Okay. Gibraltar, Rock of Gibraltar. The heck, man? Okay. I do think there's a lot more. So the Rock of Gibraltar is there. It used to be at the end. So it looks like a lot of beach has grown in here. So this Rock of Gibraltar, it was at the end last I looked. What's going on here? All right, Google Earth, wait. Gibraltar. Where's the actual rock at? Oh, so confusing. Okay, yeah, this is what's confusing me. This was at the end, but I think all this is new. This is now at the end. This is the end. I'd wondered if it had turned into an island or something, but okay, so now there's that, but it just keeps going on and on and on after that, like a whole long way. And now all of the, okay. So the rock is there and all this crap is been, so there's been a lot of stuff added. It's been a little while since I looked. And that's why they're cutting it off here, because it just keeps going. All right, that is definitely a change since last time I looked. Utter and complete crazy town. Now my brain is hurting. So beyond this is a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah, you can't see the end of it anymore. Because it just keeps going. So basically it's just squishing into the land. It's going to get in the middle of the continent if this keeps up. This is craziness. It really is. It is just ridiculous. Spain has a piece of land in Morocco. So it just seems like there's all these little enclave tidbits everywhere, and they're kind of just breaking in. They're like their own thing, you know. So like there's the special business districts that have special rules, and then there's special enclaves that have special rules, and there's like more and more and more of that stuff. Little islands everywhere, sort of independent. So, I don't know. I guess we're just going to have a million little tidbits of land with their own systems. Ugh, we're cruising along. Okay. I definitely want to cover this one. I've had this on before, and Jackie was joking about it. And I remember back at the time I'm going, it's getting kind of pink. Well, it got more pink. And it changed a lot. So even in this one, it's pretty pink. So I'm trying to, like, is this bad lighting? Like, why is it so pink here, but his face is still orange? These guys are pretty orange. But yet it's so pink here. So this is the Sistine Chapel, and I've been complaining for some years now that Sistine Chapel has a picture of God's naked butt. Okay, but now it's a little different because this used to be kind of, first of all, the whole middle wasn't pink, and then his butt was kind of flesh colored, but everything was like normal covered. But now his butt is like pink. It looks like a butt, but it's not quite as well drawn as before. So are they trying to say this is some kind of gauzy butt cover or what? Because the skin has a different color. It looks like skin color. I don't remember this thing here. I don't know what the freak this is. This is an image from the top coming down, which all the images are getting squished together. I don't remember that coming down into here like this. I don't remember this spinny, whatever the heck it's supposed to be. And it's badly placed because it just, if you look at the whole balance of the picture, having it like smashed on his hand like that just looks like an accident, and it's smashed on the head of this dude. And there's another thing over here, and also his face, it looks kind of like AI style now. It's like kind of extremist, is all bulgy. It's less godlike. He looks a little mongoloid or something. And another thing that really I don't remember is these dudes. Like these, I mean, they're supposed to be cherubs, but nowadays cherubs are like pretty freaking old, which is creepy. This one's swaddling his head. This one looks like it's a mutant head. This one's like it's missing the top of its head. The eyes are all dented in. That doesn't look normal. Like, why are their heads dented in? I'm like right here, like they ran into a beam right here or something. I mean, like, this wasn't here. These weren't here. There was just God doing something very similar to this, but a little bit different. Like, it's changed a little. And these circle things, these guys weren't in here. They don't even fit. They look stupid. It kind of looked like the legs, like these legs look like legs before. They still do, but now they're like freaking pink. So I don't know what the heck is going on. He's his butt, but it's not his butt. I'm so confused. So you can see these are the images coming down from the top. So there's a bunch that's changing here, a bunch. I actually came over to here because Jackie joked about me saying that more of his butt might show in the future. But no, it's kind of the reverse. It's like, I don't even know what to say. It almost looks like there's more showing here, but then it's turned all pink now. So I don't know what's going on. But there has been another update to this, because now this image with his butt showing is sort of in the Bible now. So now the story is, because for a long time I'm like, why would he paint something so obnoxious and ridiculous and embarrassing and just absolutely rude on some kind of religious church thing? But now, well, it's kind of in the Bible. So they're like, oh, he was just painting Exodus 33:23. And this is talking about, I guess, God. Yeah, and the Lord said, behold, there is a place by me, and thou shalt stand upon a rock. And it shall come to pass, while my glory passeth by, that I will put thee in a clift of the rock, and will cover thee with my hand while I pass by. And I will take away my hand, and thou shalt see my back parts, but my face shall not be seen. Now, what does that even mean, my back parts? Like, you could see my back, but my back parts? But my face shall not be seen. Okay, so you could say he just meant back there, but it's still, now the story is that's why this is here, because it's, I don't see a cliff of a rock anywhere around here though, but, oh, and that's another thing. I actually don't remember this being there, like this little greenery business, because I think even the background has changed. I thought it was sort of like a sky-like color, but now it's just white. None of this makes any sense. This hair, I think, has changed too. I don't know what's going on, man. Used to be 1/5 of the Ukraine. Now it looks like 1/3. Yeah. So last time I looked, it had a tiny beach, but not like, whatever that is, miles and miles of more stuff outside. Okay, so that's why I wanted to cover it, because it's sort of in the Bible now. Alright, I'm going to do this. So Jackie found this one. Evidence of negative time found in quantum physics, because we have the backwards time mirror last week, and now it's negative time. And actually, I was reading this, and I'm like, I don't get it. And maybe it's not quite as weird as they're saying, but they wanted a clickbaity title. But so this guy kind of explained it. So basically, they're saying atoms will suck up photons, become excited. The photons will cause excitation behavior inside the atom, and then at some point, the atom will barf the photon back out, and at that time become less excited. So what they did was they beamed in these photons, and then they expect to see the atoms become excited, and then at some point barf back out a photon and become less excited. But what they found was weird business where they hadn't even, like, the photon had not gone into the atom and it already got excited. And then the photon went in. So that's like backwards, because it's supposed to be the photon making excited, but it's like it got excited in advance. And then other times it barfed its photon back out, but it was still excited for a while. Like, then how could it still be excited if the photon's been thrown out? And then after a bit, it would become less excited. So it's confusing. This guy's trying to explain it. Researchers are finding that the photon was re-emitted before the electron went back to its ground state. It's like me handing you $1, and at some random point in time, you're supposed to hand it back to me. Yet, occasionally I find the dollar in my wallet before you went through the action of actually handing it over. So, I don't know. Either they don't understand photons and atoms, which probably they don't in the current timeline. Or who knows, maybe this will all change tomorrow. But anyway, Jackie found that weird article. Yeah, I know, like, I just feel like nothing really makes any sense anymore anyways. Who is this Kyle person? I don't think I know who this person is. Okay, so we did that one. Did I do this pig? I think my point was that everybody rides on pigs now. This isn't even that big a pig. And some kid. So I was like, oh, this is not ordinary. Now there's like people in here going, oh, no, we always rode pigs when I was a kid. The other thing that's creepy is that when I first saved this, I don't think this giant pink thing was on the pig's head. So that like showed up later. At least nothing that bright. I don't think it had, like, whatever this is. So this should be the exact same image video that I saved the first time, but yeah, no. So I mean, I just remember them talking about pet pigs and how even a few pounds could cause their ankles to break and they were delicate and the blah. Now I guess you can just sit on them and ride them. I don't know. But that's just becoming a real thing now, riding the pigs. This is that Canadian family I think I mentioned a few videos ago. So they were camping out. Apparently, they're not far from their house. They live in a wooded area kind of behind their house. And Des was going to hang out in here. And then tornado land like started hitting. And so they just hunkered down in here, cross their fingers, because what else are you going to do? And they were fine. But here's the thing. Tornadoes in Canada? Since when do you have tornadoes in Canada? I guess now is when you have them. Let's see. I think this was after. So he's telling them to just like stay in there because there's kids and they were scared that they were going to run, and he's like, no, stay in here. The shelter held up fine. And then the aftermath, there was a whole bunch of uprooted trees and stuff. This is weird because I thought this had the, like, a whole bunch of the... I thought this video had a whole bunch more of it. But basically they come out and there's like all these trees uprooted over their shelter, but he built the shelter really good. So they were basically practicing survival shelters and kind of hanging out. And all these trees just collapsed on top and everything. They were fine. But my whole thing is, so we just have a whole bunch of tornadoes and freaking Canada. And so he went home, and I think, excuse me, the neighbors lost the roof on their shed. And there was all kinds of stuff. Of course, the mom was there, and she was all so worried. So they were all so grateful that nobody died. Alright, so that was crazy. And then, of course, I had to find this right after. As best I can tell, that's legit. It's hard to tell anymore, but, stupid lots of freaking tornadoes. It used to be a big deal if you saw two. This one was weird. So they have worms that have, like, oh, wait, this is a different one. That word, the creepy worms up there. Okay. 46,000-year-old worm was revived. I guess nothing really dies anymore. Started having babies after being frozen for tens of thousands of years. Yeah, that's not spooky at all. So we can have like whole new worms now. Anything can just defrost and start infecting everybody. And then some creepy, was it moths, I think? Wonderful. Shh, quiet. So these are, I think they're moths. Each one of these is a moth sitting on his finger. Oh, they do. Camouflage is a lot better in this timeline. They really do look like little twigs. Wood mimic moths is what those are. Now this one was interesting. I'm going to cover this one, then I'll end. I've had this on, like a thing like that on before. And I think it was in UK. And I was like, okay, do we know what caused it? So here's another one. They're saying it was from a fireworks show at Disney California Adventure. And, you know, so they got the lights going on or so. I mean, you have the location and everything, but like, how is it so cohesive? It just stays. Like, in my old timeline, smoke would just, you know, dissipate out. It didn't just stay in its creepy, ooky. This one's even more creepy than the one I found before. So, it's a thing, I guess. A new Mickey Mouse has been chosen. That's actually kind of funny. So the last time I had these on a few years ago, like, there was no way to figure out what it even was or if it was even real. But apparently those are real now. So they didn't, there's no way tornadoes hadn't happened in Canada before because it was too cold. Tornadoes were warm weather phenomena. Yeah, in Vancouver, Toronto. Boiling eggs takes forever in this reality. Yeah, it used to be 3 minutes for hard boiled. 3 minutes. That's why we had a 3-minute egg. And I'm telling you, we did not eat soft boiled eggs. Nobody in my family will touch a soft boiled egg. So there's no way we were eating those. Geocentric, eccentric was my old handle. I actually don't remember that one either. Sorry. Anyway, I'm leaving here in a sec because it's 2:03 in the morning. Yeah, there's just that's one thing. There's almost no 3-minute eggs anymore, and apparently now it's some kind of soft-boiled creepy crap. But yeah, we never ever ate soft-boiled eggs. That is actually a thing in my family. Like, ew. And I just, my mom bought the timer. She very carefully, if you go all the way to the end, it would 3 minutes, and it was the shape of an egg. It was just like really kitschy. But we never had tornado season in Canada before. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, hard-boiled eggs. It was 3 minutes. It was a famous 3-minute egg, a 3-minute egg. Everybody knew it was 3 minutes. It doesn't even get hot now. Like, I can cook a steak on the skillet there, and then like 15 seconds after I turn off the heat, or I haven't even hardly turned off, I can touch the skillet and I won't burn my hand. And I can just yank the steak out of there and cut it and slap it right in my mouth. I would have burnt the crap out of my mouth in the old days. It's like heat ain't that hot no more or something. This is craziness. Yeah, no, we came from the faraway 3-minute egg, hard-boiled egg timeline. That was in the 70s, I might add. So that was a long time ago when we had the 3-minute eggs. All right. Well, it is time for me to go. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it so much. Praying for everybody's safety. Think good thoughts, everybody. This is Eva signing off for Once Upon a Timeline.